or more, nothing they no go see for this social space. So when you think, say, your eye don't see everything finish, your ear don't hear everything finish, my brother, you dey lie.
Breaking news from Delta State, where a dramatic confrontation between police operatives and suspected kidnappers has resulted in the successful disruption of what could have been another devastating abduction in Nigeria. The Delta State Police Command has confirmed that on January 11, 2026, at approximately 9:35 in the evening, officers attached to the Commissioner of Police Special Assignment Team stormed a criminal hideout in the Upper Agbaro area, forcing at least 6 armed suspects to flee into the surrounding bushes after a fierce gunfight that left the criminals nursing various injuries. What makes this story particularly gripping is not just the successful operation itself, but the items left behind by these fleeing bandits that tell a vivid story of how these criminal gangs operate while planning their attacks on innocent citizens. When police operatives led by Julius Robinson arrived at the location acting on credible intelligence reports, they encountered immediate resistance as the suspected kidnappers opened fire on the security team. However, the officers responded with what the Delta State Police Public Relations Officer Bright Edafe described as superior firepower, overwhelming the criminals and forcing them to abandon their hideout in complete disarray. The gunfight, which occurred along a bush path in Upper Agbaro, showcased the dangers that law enforcement officers face daily while protecting communities from violent criminal elements who have made kidnapping a thriving illegal business across various Nigerian states. The fact that these suspects were willing to engage police in a shootout demonstrates their desperation and the serious threat they posed to potential victims who would have found themselves at the mercy of armed and dangerous individuals with nothing to lose. The items recovered from the abandoned hideout paint a fascinating picture of life inside the kidnappers' camp and reveal just how prepared these criminals were for their planned operation. Police discovered a bowl of soaked gari, complete with 3 spoons, indicating that the suspects were literally in the middle of eating when law enforcement descended on their location. Alongside this meal were nylons containing groundnut and additional gari supplies, suggesting these criminals had stockpiled provisions for an extended stay at this remote location. Perhaps most telling were the sachets of alcoholic drinks, matches, and lighters found at the scene, items that indicate these suspects were comfortable enough in this hideout to settle in for what might have been days or even weeks while plotting their next move. The presence of eating utensils and prepared food shows just how sudden and unexpected the police raid was, catching these dangerous criminals completely off guard during what they probably thought was a safe and secure location far from the reach of law enforcement agencies. However, the most significant discoveries were the weapons that these fleeing suspects had no time to carry as they escaped into the darkness. Police recovered one FNC rifle that was fully loaded with 1 round of live ammunition, ready to be fired at a moment's notice. Even more alarming was the pump-action gun found at the scene, loaded with 32 rounds of live cartridges, enough firepower to cause massive casualties and terrorize an entire community. These weapons tell us that the planned kidnapping operation was not going to be a quiet affair, but potentially a violent attack that could have resulted in deaths and serious injuries if the suspects had encountered any resistance from their intended victims or security personnel. The recovery of these firearms represents a significant victory for public safety, as weapons that would have been used to commit heinous crimes are now in police custody instead of in the hands of criminals prowling Nigerian communities looking for vulnerable targets. The manhunt currently underway for the fleeing suspects adds another layer of urgency to this story, as police are determined to apprehend these dangerous individuals before they can regroup, receive medical treatment for their injuries, and potentially attempt another criminal operation. The fact that these suspects fled with varying degrees of injury suggests that the police gunfire found its mark during the confrontation, which should make it easier for security agencies to track them down through hospital visits or movements in nearby communities. Security sources indicate that the injuries sustained by these fleeing criminals will likely slow them down and make them more desperate, potentially leading to mistakes that could aid in their capture. However, there is also concern that wounded and cornered criminals might become even more dangerous if they feel they have no escape route, which is why police have advised residents of Upper Agbaro and surrounding areas to remain vigilant and report any suspicious individuals seeking medical attention or behaving unusually. As this story continues to develop and more information emerges about the fleeing suspects and their intended targets, Nigerians across the country will be watching to see if police can complete this operation by apprehending the criminals and bringing them to justice. The success or failure of this manhunt will send important signals about the capacity of Nigerian security agencies to follow through on initial victories and build sustained pressure on criminal networks. Make sure you like this video and share it with friends and family so more people can stay informed about these critical security developments that affect all our lives.